Hi, Jason Knott, Chief Content Officer at Commercial Integrator, and today I am talking about networking with John Henkel, Pro AV Product Marketing Manager at NETGEAR. Hi, John.
Hey, Jason, thanks a lot for having me. Great to be here.
Thanks for joining me today. Okay, so AV over IP has really become the standard for the commercial AV integrators and their clients. And obviously, the importance is for the integrator standpoint, they have to touch that client's network, which sometimes can be a problem. So what advice can you offer to integrators about what they should do to make sure that client's network is ready for an AV over IP solution?
Yeah, it's tough. I know a lot of AV people like myself come from an AV background, don't know IET at all. So I think the first thing that NETGEAR is saying, reach out to us. So we offer a free consultation, engineering services design team. These are guys who know AV and they know IT, they know our switches. They can help you figure out, first of all, the right product in general, but also help you design your network. Because most often we also recommend you don't sync the AV on the IT network. You separate those networks. So that's the number one thing. We can take a look at your design and make sure that you have the proper equipment, you have the proper uplinks, but also just make sure that the topology is correct and that we're going to help you succeed in this installation.
Yeah, I know there's a big debate, obviously, specifically between like 10G and 1G networks and the different solutions there that are necessary for AV over IP. So how are the NETGEAR M4250 series switches engineered to alleviate deployment of AV over IP solutions?
Yeah, the newer switches, the M4250 you mentioned, Jason, really have been designed with input from the Pro AV community. So we had a group of people come in a little while ago when those were first in development and tell us what they needed. So what they said was, I want it to look like an AV switch. So the M4250 looks different than IT switches. It's meant for an AV rack. So all the ports are in the back behind. You can also reverse mount that if you want. We give you those kind of rack ears, but they look like an AV switch, like an AV product. They also, the biggest thing is this AV user interface. We've been showing that. We showed that at InfoComm recently. You can log into it as a traditional switch if you want to. We use the web GUI or command line as well. But what we offer now is a really simplified approach for setting up a switch for AV. You log into the AV GUI, you select the profile for the type of AV over IP system you're doing, whether it's 1G or 10G or whatever, audio, Dante, QSYS, take your pick. And you select the ports that type of service is running on, and then you click enter, and that's really basically it. It's that simple. So what that does is it has a profile that has all the settings in it, and will then configure all the proper settings. And that comes from us working with all the other vendors. And we have their equipment in our place, they have theirs, they have ours at theirs, and we make sure that thing is flawless. So whether you're doing AVB, which is complicated, or Dante audio and video, NDI5, SDVOE, I mean, take your pick. We have a profile for you to set it up and rest assured it's going to work flawlessly.
That simplification is key because it can be so intimidating, especially if you're interfacing with an IT manager from that client's end. So talk about training and where integrators can go to get the knowledge they need. You mentioned some of NETGEAR's resources. How can they get that knowledge they need?
Yeah, so if you want to reach out to that Pro AV team, it's a simple email address, first of all, proavdesign@netgear.com, proavdesign@netgear.com. But we also have an academy. So we've just refreshed that recently, and we have more content coming. So if you go to netgear.academy, no .com, nothing else, netgear.academy, you can log in for free, create a free account, and we have a couple of AV over IP courses in there. We also have the SDVOE design certification course. And even if you're not doing SDVOE work using those pieces of equipment, you can still get a lot of valuable information there on what VLANs are, what's IGMP. So all that is really good AV over IP information. And then using our design team for specific info and tips and tricks on your specific installation.
All right, great information. And NETGEAR, thanks for helping integrators move ahead in this AV over IP solution world. And thanks for joining Commercial Integrator today.
Thanks, Jason. Great to be here.